And this is one of the activity, this project, the UKIERI project that we have been doing with our partner, IEEE from 3City. So let's just go directly to what we have been doing, what's the outcomes, and so really we want to share with you. Just briefly about the project for anyone that is new to this. And the project is about automation, maintenance, and monitoring for Industry 4 smart factory. And we try to achieve, we try to create like near real-time digital twin of a physical process in manufacturing industry, where we take a case study of the smart factory, the state-of-the-art smart Siemens Festo Industry 4 CPS, available at our Middlesex University. So we focusing on, okay, when we try to create a digital twin model of that, we try to do all the things that we normally do with evaluation, debugging, and then try to see if how fit, how close the digital model to the actual one. And then from on, as has been mentioned by our previous speaker, we can do a lot of the other things like fault detection, predictive maintenance, and other things in manufacturing. Okay, so I have to acknowledge that we would like to say thank you to our funder, which is the Department of Science and Technology from the Indian government for the Indian side, and for the UK side, it is a UK India Education and Research Initiative. They are the funders for this project. And we also would like to thank our industrial partners, Siemens Festo, and companies from India as well, which later on, maybe Rishi can share in more detail. So yes, that's the objectives. And what about the outcomes? I don't want to start this with any excuse, but we have to state the fact that a lot of activities we couldn't do due to this obvious situation with the pandemic. Everyone knows we plan to travel, even to travel to India, but we couldn't do that. So we have to adapt our work. We didn't stop there. We didn't take that as an excuse, but we adapt the situation to the situation. And we work mainly online. The two teams from India, we work a lot on Zoom, on the other online platform. And so still a lot of outcomes we achieve. We still feel like this is a successful project. And so what have we done? So you can see here we summarize some of the things we have done, the key things we've done, that we developed a digital twin of the smart factory for the line monitoring and the maintenance purpose. We can show, hopefully, we can show a live demonstration, but if not possible with the live setup, then we show you a video of that. Okay, so the work from the project, also I would like to think that we have launched our London Digital Twin Research Center at Middlesex University. This is like the leading hub on digital twin research in the UK, and I think that is a very good contribution from the project to the launch of our research center in the UK here. And yes, we also show with disseminate the project outcome with the video, which we will show later. And the workshop, okay, we said that we have done a lot of things. We mentioned about the pandemic. We couldn't invite speaker. We couldn't organize the in-person workshop, but at least we still managed to do 4 workshops. And one of them we managed just before the pandemic, and in March 2020, where we invited 60 to 80 participants coming from the UK and from our Indian partner, and a lot of industrial partners, speakers to come to join us for the event of Digital Twin on global digital transformation. And also the RealC Research Center will launch at this event. But after that, it's all about the online workshop, and we organize 2 in the UK, 2 in India, and this is one of them, and the one today. Okay, so also we contribute to the conferences, international conferences. We try to disseminate our research outcome on digital twin, like we organized 2 panels and special section at the conference. You can see there, like the Digital Twin for the Future at the International Smart City Conference 2021. And we organized a special section on Digital Twin as part of the ICT conference as well. And we gave some keynotes talks to just disseminate our project outcomes to show that how Digital Twin can help with the smart monitoring in Industry 4 or smart manufacturing. And also importantly, we have to say that we managed to train 16 research assistants and students in this project, which is a number I have to say that we are quite proud of, given the situation. And we mentioned a few names in there. Okay, and also that we contribute to the patent and the partnership, especially with the industrial partner and other organizations that very relevant to the digital twin technology. Few names coming up here. You can see like Festo Siemens, our usual long-term partners, and we managed to get sponsor and partnership with ANSYS, Ericsson, Schlumberger, and especially I mentioned some organization, you know, the Connected Curriculum and the National Digital Twin Program in the UK, and also the Digital Twin Consortium from the North America. And okay, so one thing I will mention later on, but I would like to think that the project do not stop here, even though we say that today we're closing the project, but our activity, our collaboration go beyond this. We already managed to secure further funding to carry on our collaboration. You can see that the 2 projects on the Going Global Partnership Program from British Council. So we're so happy with that because we can carry on what we has been doing. And for the research guiding, of course, every single project, we have the intensive research program, and now we managed to publish 16 papers on this. A lot of them are on the top tier IEEE journals. So the list here, I don't want to go through detail, but you can see all the list accepted is 10 papers, and currently under review, we got another 6 papers showing all our research outcome from the project, whether that is a digital twinning framework for Industry 4, or it's about the smart manufacturing designs, even for machine health monitoring, all those things. If you are interested in any of them, feel free to contact us. We will share with you all the outcome. So now we'd like to show a little bit more detail. Of course, we don't have time to show too much detail, but still a little bit more technical with this. So I'd like to hand over to my colleague, co-investigator of the project, Dr. Ramana Stretching. So Ramana, it's up to you now.
Yeah, thank you very much, Juan. So just we wanted to go over the main idea of the project and how this project and collaboration came to life. So it happens that at Middlesex University, we have this Festo Cyber Physical Factory, which is a small-scale product assembly line, and is used for academic purposes and research as well. So at that time, this digital twin concept picked up, and we were just thinking, what about applying this digital twin concept to our smart factory? So the idea was to have, on one side, we have the real cyber physical system, and to create this digital model of the CP lab. So we created this virtual product on the other side, but now the digital twin will be the interconnectivity between these two. So you have this circle with continuous improvement. So the real CP lab will send maintenance history data, operational data, real-time operational data, or aggregated data to the virtual model. And then at the virtual model side, we can use different statistical models or machine learning algorithms, and then impose some optimized operations in the real physical system. So in this way, you can go from the virtual production to the real production for an ideal delivery. Now, it's worth to mention here that this digital twin can work alongside the physical real system for providing like optimization operations and so on. But you can also use it as a simulator. Now, when you want to add, for example, new modules to your production line, before going into investing into these modules, you want to simulate what will happen, how will the productivity be impacted by adding new modules. So if we move on to the next slide, Juan, please. So this CB lab consists in fact of 2 production cells, and we call them these islands. And these islands are connected through an automated guided vehicle, and we call it Robotino. And each production cell has 3 stations that perform individual assembly tasks. So for example, you start with the order assignment, then you have the station that does the placement of the lower cover of the product, then it moves on to the next station that does the placement of PCB and fuses, which in fact is a manual station, and this is the only manual station in this production line. And then it moves on to the next station that will do the image-based inspection for accuracy, and it moves on to the Robotino that will take it to the second island, where we have the upper cover assignment, then the pressure-based closing of the case, and the heat chamber-based sealant melting, and then you have the product that is ready. So it's in fact assembly line for a mock mobile devices, we call it. So if we move on to the next slide, we can see some details on one of the islands. So we see that each island, as I said, it will have 3 stations that do different operations, different tasks. And we have several sensors involved here. So we have the RFID reader, we have the capacitive location sensor, you have the traction-based carrier tray stopper. So the product will be mounted on this product carrier tray that will go from station to station on the conveyor belt. And what we've done, like to create this digital twin, we connected all these sensors to the ones corresponding in the digital models. And then you have the interconnectivity between this, like the physical model and the digital model that will form this digital twin. Now, the next slide, this is just the demo. So on the upper side, we have the real physical lab, and on the lower window there we have the digital twin, but you'll have a demo in the next sessions, like the students are invited to show you a real demo in the next session.
Absolutely, Ramona. Yes, we want to leave this for you. Maybe you have to wait a little bit more for this, and hopefully that, as I said, if the setup in the live demo is possible, we show you live. But if not, we will come back to the video for you because there is some, you know, given the situation with the COVID situation, the access to the lab, and few things going on. So, but hopefully still we can make it. Let me stop this video and then we go to the next slide. And as Ramona said that, okay, that's a part of the setting up a digital twin, trying to monitor our cyber physical system there. And she mentioned a lot about industrial IoT sensors in there. So one part of that, okay, getting the data, monitoring live the system is one thing of our digital twin. But what to do with the data, how we can make it better. That is the second thing that, okay, in our digital twin and designs. So we also try to do something with our sensor, with the industrial IoT devices. So let's assume that in there you see that there are 2 islands representing maybe 2 manufacturing processes, plus the mobile Robotino in there. So in our example here, that we can do a lot more with other sensors. So we also gone to the fundamental research that we design in this particular case, for example. And then this fundamental research, we try to go back to our digital system, whether we can, to see if we can implement that. So one example of that here I want to show you, that is the machine health monitoring. using the IIoT devices. For example, in this figure, you can see that there are three manufacturing processes. Each of them will have like a number of IoT sensors in there, monitoring the situation, keep sending information to the data center. But we're just not happy with just sending the data to the data center. We can also try to decide that can the sensor send something else as well, apart from the normal information, the sensor information. So in this case, we integrate one of the ideas that, okay, what about if the sensor recognizing that one of the manufacturing process or maybe production line has some issue? Okay, because at the end of the day, we try to monitor the system. We want to see that anything wrong, everything normal with our manufacturing processes. So if the sensor pick up something that unusual, like higher temperature, or maybe the system is not working well, or it needs maintenance in some way or certain components, then we try to send that secondary information to the system as well. So the idea is that it's just one of the idea we propose that, okay, we use the power domain. What about that when one of the manufacturing process or the system recognize that something is not right, it immediately lower the power transmission power. Okay, for example, you can see that on the right hand side, the 3 frames in there, and the middle one is normal, nothing wrong with that manufacturing process. But the first process and the third one, there is something wrong. So suddenly you can see that the drop of power level. So now with that, it's just example here, there are 3 frames representing the 3 processes, right? So, and at the receiver, when you receive something like this, can we recognize something here? Can we read into the situation? Oh, something is not right. Rather than that, the 3 state of 0, 0, 0. Now we receive something like 101. Can you recognize what I mean? 101 meaning that, okay, something is not right with the first and the third manufacturing processes. But because we use the domain, power domain here, it's not easy to recognize that. So we have to use machine learning algorithm. In particular, the case here, we use autoencoder module as a receiver to try to recognize the pattern of our waveforms. Okay, so using machine learning definitely can improve the accuracy of the situation. We don't want to have any false alarms or misdetection in this case of the situation. So I don't want to go into too much detail of the equation here, mathematical equation, because if you are interested in that, I'm happy to talk to you in another talk maybe. But the situation that, okay, we achieve quite accuracy the detection of anything wrong with our cyber physical system or our manufacturing system. Okay, and like over 90% and over even 95% of that situation that it can read very well the situation if something wrong with our manufacturing processes. At the same time, to keep the primary purpose that is sending information, sensor information to the data center, because that's the main purpose, we cannot compromise that and still keep a good level of compromise here. Okay, so with that now, because not much time left, but I still want to show you that the video we made about the whole process, the whole project. But as I said, again, you need to bear with me how I am going to open it.
Connectivity between these 2 models and creates a digital twin.
Yeah, use data analytics-based modeling, clustering techniques, etc., to identify the anomalies. And importantly, use the robotic arm or a robotic-based processes to increase the efficiency and improve the overall manufacturing process.
What is that for? You have the monitoring of the system to optimize the processes, including how we can detect any potential damage, and also we can optimize the life cycle of the system.
You can collect all this data and analyze it, apply different machine learning solutions. So for example, you can add more stations to the production line, but before doing that, you can use your digital twin to test or to simulate what will be the benefits of adding a new station, or what happens if you add a new module to your smart factory before going into actually investing in that module.
We has been funded by the UK government in the UK Indian Research and Education Initiative.
Now, to be able to do this, a lot of companies need to put infrastructure in place, as well as train staff.
As a student ready to become the next generation workforce who got sufficient skill to be able to take on the new technology.
Middlesex is very pleased to be part of a very small consortium across the UK, which is focused on the idea of the connected curriculum, a collaboration that has been initiated by Siemens. The idea of this connected curriculum is to deliver skills-based training and education for students to gear them for Industry 4.0. The centre is there to enhance our knowledge and pass that knowledge on to our curriculum and our undergraduate and postgraduate students. What Siemens wants out of this is that to take this approach in terms of practice-led teaching and connecting industry practice with academic studies, so that we don't teach students in isolation from industry. We allow our students to take risks, try things, they get things wrong, but they learn from that. And the more mistakes they make here, the better they're prepared for outside work.